Alright, what is going on everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Irvin. We've got another video for you guys today. If you guys can see, this is my 1995 Mitsubishi Eclipse. Now this thing is quite a huge project, and in the last episode you guys should have seen me fixing the hatch and both rear quarter panels as far as bodywork goes. So today we're actually going to be working on the doors because the doors have a few issues. So it's a little bit hard to pick up on camera, but you can kind of see the entire door has a little bit of waviness to it. That's an issue. And also, all the way down the door, we've got a pretty good scratch from where the car was keyed before I got it. So those are two issues that I need to address. Really, it's not going to be too much work, but it is something that in the end product is going to make it look a lot better with those things not there. So what I'm going to start out with is my trusty Durablock with some 180 grit sandpaper. All the products are going to be in the description if you guys want to buy any of this stuff. I'm pretty much going to use this to scratch up the paint and see where the low spots and high spots are, and if I need to work any high spots I will, and then I'll fill all the low spots with some body filler. Then I'm going to go ahead and blend the repair area, the scratch and all the dents and everything into the panel and pretty much get this thing ready to be primed. Alright, so I've got pretty much the top section of the door blocked down, just a quick 180 grit just to kind of see what I'm working with. And at this point you guys can see something kind of cool that I'm doing here. So pretty much what I'm doing is I'm using the clear coat on the car as a guide coat to tell me what needs to be sanded more, what needs to be body worked. You can see pretty much most of the door got a pretty even scratch. There are a few spots that didn't actually get scratched. And you can see that because they still have shiny clear on them. That means those are low spots. So now that I know where the low spots are, I can come back and scuff that all up, make sure it's got a good surface for the body filler to adhere to, and know exactly where I need to put the body filler. So that's gonna be very helpful. I still need to go a little bit deeper on the scratch because you guys can see I've been sanding it a little bit, but the key line is still there. So that's got to get completely faded out into the paint to make sure that it doesn't come out in the new paint. So I'm going to get into doing that, and then I'll come back to you guys when it's time for filler. Alright, so now that I know where my low spots are, I'm going to go ahead and just draw around them with marker so that I can know where to sand and where to fill. So now I can go ahead and hit that with some 80 grit so that all of the body filler will stick very well to that, and I'll be able to get it laid down. floor skimmed. Now it's time for me to let this all dry and then I can get it sanded. So you guys can see that it's a very, very, very light coat that I put on here. I kind of want to limit the sanding that I have to do on this thing just to save myself some time. So I didn't really use all of the body filler that I mixed. Now, as you guys can see, I'm not bothering to clean this up at all. Wow, I just got fucking body filler all over my hand. Awesome. Now, as you guys can see, I left quite a mess. And I'm actually gonna leave it like that because honestly, getting one big piece of body filler off of my spreader is a lot easier than getting a bunch of little pieces if I try to clean it. So I usually just try to pull it all up on the spreader and make sure that it all comes off in one piece. I got a shit ton of body filler on my hands, so I'm not stoked about that. But I'm gonna let this dry and we'll get to sanding. So as you guys can see, that's where the key mark was, and it's sanded all the way pretty much down to primer, but it didn't go any further than that, so that's pretty much where I'm gonna leave it. But that's looking good. It is the next day. This is all completely dry. Time to knock it down and get this thing straight. So I got 320 on my DA. That's probably going to be the last step. As you guys can see, the body filler is pretty much only in the parts that were low. So that's what we want. Now this panel is nice and straight. I'm just going to go ahead and give it a good scuff with the 320. Make sure that it's ready for primer. So I've just finished getting the door completely straight and sanded to a 320 grit, so it's ready for primer. So I'm probably gonna end the video here. Probably gonna do the other one off camera because it's just the same thing that I did on this side. But that's one more step, guys, one more step. And actually, since my list got all messed up when they took out the windshield, I think I'm gonna make another one of those. Right, so I just finished transferring all of the stuff that I had on the windshield onto a piece of cardboard. It's hung up now, so you guys can see I have officially crossed off quarter panel and hatch bodywork and skimming the doors because all of this stuff is done. Pretty much this entire section of the car is pretty much ready for primer. And so now I just have a few more things to do before we can actually get there. I need to sand off all of this old paint because I ended up trying to rattle can the roof and the hood to see if I could get a better finish on it. I want to get all the rail can off because I don't necessarily trust that to be under my real paint, so I want to get all of it off so that there's only either factory paint or metal on the surface. Then I've got to do something about this rear bumper mount. That's going to be a fun video. I don't think you guys are prepared for what's about to come because that's going to be quite a process. But the list of things that I have to do on this car to get it ready for paint is dwindling very quickly. And I'm super stoked to see this all come together. I hope you guys are enjoying this. If you guys are, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I've got a lot more stuff coming. We've got some pretty cool stuff coming for the IS 300 here pretty soon. But with that being said, I'll see you guys next time.